In the quiet coastal town of Ravelton, life was simple, predictable. No one had ever heard of a bacterium named Keekoo. And for good reason. For millennia, it existed only in the crushing depths of the Pacific, thriving in superheated vents where life seemed impossible. But the ocean is changing. Warming waters and shifting currents began to dredge up secrets from the deep. And one of those secrets was Keekoo. The first person to meet it was Dr. Leon Harrow, a marine biologist whose curiosity often outweighed her caution. She was examining samples from a fishing trawler when she noticed something odd under her microscope. A faint, silver shimmer moving through the water like a tiny spark of light. She leaned in closer. The speck moved. Then it multiplied. Within 20 minutes, her entire slide glittered like shattered starlight. She was fascinated, completely unaware that a single, contaminated drop had touched a small cut on her knuckle. And that's how it all began. 3 days later, Dr. Harrow stumbled into the emergency room, trembling uncontrollably. Her skin seemed to glow under the hospital's harsh fluorescent lights, dusted with powdered stars. "I'm glowing," she whispered, just before collapsing. The doctors were baffled. She had a raging fever, but her vital signs were stable. Under her skin, they could see tiny silver threads pulsing like microscopic rivers. When they drew her blood, the sample sparkled. The lab technicians stared in awe, and then the awe turned to panic. Word spread fast. So did the infection. Keekoo was alarmingly intelligent for a simple bacterium. It seemed to communicate, coordinating its growth like a hive mind using pulses of bioluminescent chemicals. Once inside a human host, it wove itself through tissues like living lace, drawing energy directly from the electrical impulses of the nervous system. At first, it wasn't lethal. The early symptoms were even euphoric. Infected individuals, dubbed glints by the media, felt energized. They could run faster, think with crystal clarity, and see almost perfectly in the dark. But as the days passed, the glow grew brighter, and a new, gnawing hunger emerged. The glints began craving massive amounts of carbohydrates. Entire bakery aisles were emptied overnight. One security camera captured a glowing teenager devouring 2 whole trays of raw pasta before collapsing. The government issued emergency advisories, and the city was placed under quarantine. But Keekoo didn't respect barricades. It drifted through the air as microscopic spores carried on the breath of every infected person. Within 2 weeks, the entire city of Ravelton shimmered at night, a ghost town of bioluminescent souls. Dr. Jonas Cade, a top immunologist, was flown in under military escort. He'd read the reports, but nothing could prepare him for the reality of Ravelton. The city was silent. Not empty, but eerily quiet, as if the whole population was listening to something he couldn't hear. People wandered the streets, glowing softly, their eyes unfocused but strangely peaceful. Some hummed in unison, a rhythmic chant that echoed through the empty avenues. "That's the Keekoo chorus," said Officer Marinholt, his escort. "They hum for hours." "It's unnerving as hell," Cade swallowed. "They're communicating," he said. "With each other?" She asked. "Maybe," he replied, checking his scanner. "But I think they're communicating with the bacteria. Or the bacteria are communicating through them." In a makeshift lab, Cade discovered Keekoo was unlike any pathogen known to science. It was adaptive, changing its form and function in minutes. When exposed to electromagnetic fields, it pulsed harder, replicating faster. Keekoo wasn't just alive. It was evolving. It was learning. The turning point came when the infected stopped their aimless wandering. Reports flooded in of coordinated movement. Groups of glints were gathering at the highest points in the city rooftops, bridges, and the old lighthouse. "What are they doing?" Holt whispered as they watched a cluster of glowing figures ascend the lighthouse stairs in perfect, synchronized motion. "I think Keekoo is moving them," Cade said, his voice trembling. "Positioning them. For what?" Just then, a tremor rolled through the ground. The air itself seemed to shimmer. The glints at the top of the lighthouse raised their arms in unison. Their bodies pulsed with synchronized beams of silver light, shooting straight up into the sky like a living beacon. Cade stared in horror. "They're signaling?" he gasped. "They're sending something back." "To what?" Holt asked, her voice tight with fear. "To wherever Keekoo came from. time was running out. They raced back to the lab where Cade worked frantically on a counteragent of competitor bacteria designed to sever Keekoo's communication network. But as he worked, the low hum of the chorus grew louder. The windows began to glow with a soft, silver light. The glints were outside, they were gathering. Holt barricaded the door, shouting at Cade to hurry. The beam from the lighthouse intensified, a shimmering column piercing the clouds. Thunder rumbled, though the sky was clear. Cade finished, loading the counteragent into an atomizer.